So thank you so much for coming. I know there's lots of business planning clinics out there, and there's a lot of things to do this time of year, both business and personal. So thank you for carving out 3 hours to spend it with us. Now, before we get into the business planning event, there is an event that I want to share with you that's happening in January. Who here would like to have more leads? Raise your hand, right? More leads are a good thing. So in January, in this same building, we're going to be teaching how to crush internet lead gen with Jeff and Amanda Whitespear. They're out of Texas. They do hundreds of transactions a year. They're internet lead gen masters. So if you're interested, go ahead and register for that. It's happening January 26th, so after the holidays. So a little bit about me. My name's Johnny Jennings. I'm a real estate agent from around here, and I just wanted to welcome you to the Business Planning Clinic. And just honestly, we're so thankful that you're able to make it today. Speaking of giving thanks, can I share with you a little tip my coach, Bill Pipes, shared with me on how to sell more houses in today's market. Is that okay with you? All right. So what he told me, it's super complicated. He said, grab your phone, open up your contacts tab, scroll till you find somebody you're thankful for, and give them a call and tell them you're thankful. Do that as many times as you can between now and Thanksgiving, and you will see your business grow in this season. So what does that look like? For example, Jen Finley. Is Jen Finley here? So Jen Finley is walking in right now. She is with North American. I was going to give her, so I'll do it anyways. Jen, I'm so thankful for Jen because she's with North American, and you can argue, it's all safe to agree that real estate agents are a difficult crowd to please, yes? We've been working with her for 2 years. Jen, we've had no complaints from you or North American. So thank you so much for working so hard for our clients and for our agents. Right? That's all it is. Super easy. I would argue even fun. Here's another one. Brent Gove. Thank you so much for hosting events like this every single month. We wouldn't have great speakers like Stacie Peterson flying in to teach us and speak into our businesses without your generosity, your leadership, and your support. So thank you. So speaking of Stacie Peterson, for those of you who don't know, Stacie is a real estate agent. She's been in the industry over 20 years. She sold over 2,000 homes in that period of time. She went from a team of 0 transactions to growing it to 300 transactions. She then sold that for 7 figures, started the Real Estate B School where she coaches and teaches and mentors agents on how to build their real estate business using systems and leverage. And she also teaches on business planning. So everybody, please stand up, put your hands together, and welcome to the stage, Miss Stacie Peterson.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, I am super excited to meet with you guys today. This is going to be a complete working session. So I'm sorry that you don't have tables. You're going to have to use your knees wisely. But we are going to leave here today with a complete business plan. Not like a bunch of ideas, not like a bunch of things that maybe you'll look at later. A 100% complete business plan. This packet's going to look yucky by 2024 because you're going to have referred to it so much. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you to Brent Gove and the team for inviting me. I'm excited to be here. So I am from South Dakota. How many of you have met someone from South Dakota before? More than I thought. Every time I go somewhere and get in an Uber and they're like, where are you from? And I say South Dakota. And they're like, where is that? And I have never met anyone from there. So, great. It feels like family. Are you from South Dakota?
No, but isn't where Mount Rushmore's located?
Yes, Mount Rushmore. Yeah, awesome. And Sturgis, yes. We are famous for those 2 things. I don't live anywhere near either one of those. I live on the other side of the state where it's super flat, super windy, but we love it. So,
North Stanley County?
no. By Rapid, 50 miles from Mitchell. Look at you guys, geography majors. I thought you were real estate agents. All right, perfect. So today, open up your booklet to the very first page. I forgot I had slides, sorry. That's me. All right. On the very first page, we're going to talk about your roadmap to success. So a lot of people complicate business planning, and I was one of them. So when I was an individual agent, and the highest sales I ever got to was 60 homes in 6 months, and the only reason I did it in 6 was because I had a baby. So I had a really good reason to get it done. But when I was trying to plan my business, there was a few things that were just always up in the air. How am I going to find more people to sell houses to? And then how am I going to get more referrals, right? It's nice to always write in your plan, oh, I'm going to sell 100 homes next year, and 50% of them are going to be referrals, and 60% are going to be listings. But when you actually have no tools and systems to make that a repeatable type of business, your plan is just flat. It's just pen on paper. So that's what we're going to cover today. And we only want to include the elements that are important. Now, there's many other things you can add to your plan besides the 29 pages that are here. But I'm telling you, these are the most important based on, I've coached and trained about 1,000 agents in the last 10 years. And this is a huge part of what we coach and train on. So we're going to set the stage first. I was certified by Brent and Burchard, if any of you are familiar with him, a few years back. And something we had to do in one of his seminars was we had to stand up and write the 10 things we were most accomplished at. And I sat there and sat there and sat there, and I was like, I can think of one, but I can't think of 10. And he made us do it. And then we had to stand up in a group of 10 other strangers and repeat, what we achieved. And so at first I wrote things like, I love my family. I got married. I had a baby, and then I was like, well, yes, those are great. Don't get me wrong. But those aren't really big life achievements, especially for business, right? And so that's why we're going to start with, what did you achieve? What can you celebrate? Because when you know what you're great at, it's pretty easy to make plans to continue the greatness instead of coming from a mindset of, oh my God, the market sucks, and I just hate real estate, and my in-laws are coming for the holidays. Whatever all those are that you've got stuck in your head, let's get them out. Let's talk about all the things. So we're going to set the stage first. Then we're going to remove any obstacles. And let me tell you, this is my favorite exercise. I really had about 20 pages on time management, and I had to take it out because you guys would have been like, yikes, that's a lot. But when we remove all these obstacles and all these things that stand in our way and identify them, we can solve them. It's like magic. So we're going to go through that, and then we're going to talk about the 5 models that help you create your business plan. If you have these 5 things in your plan, you're going to sail through 2023. And then lastly, we're going to put it all together. Vision, plan, and goals. And we're going to do some numbers. We're going to do a little bit of writing on what kind of systems, tools we need in our business, what things we need to add. But we're going to break it down from a 3-year to a 1-year to a 90-day plan. That was where I really had a lot of problems as well. I would write an annual plan, and then I'd say, okay, by 6 months, I should have half of the plan done. But I didn't take into account any seasonality. I didn't take into account, for me, you guys don't have this problem, but, we get dumped on with snow. So, I don't even want to leave the house till about April 15th, tax day. But you guys don't have that problem. But you have to think about even your MLS seasonality, right? You guys probably have, maybe you think this is winter right now. I don't know. Okay. I left South Dakota, it was 15 degrees, so I was like, I'm going to wear a tank top and shorts today. But anyway, we're going to put all that together so that you can run in a 90-day world. And it's not a new concept, but to actually do it might be. Because common sense is not always common practice. So we want to put it together for you. All right? All right, let's get going. Let's start with vision. So like I said, instead of me sitting up here just preaching at you for hours, I'm going to have you do the work. And I will walk around as well. I forgot to mention that. I am going to walk around, so that way if you have questions, I want to answer them for you. If you know the person you're sitting beside and you're like, shoot, that's my team leader, and I didn't really want to say I was leaving the team. Don't put that kind of stuff in your plan. Don't put that stuff. Put the good stuff, okay? And if you need to get up and move right now, no problem. But let's just start with vision and creating the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe, right? Oprah Winfrey, she always says the smartest stuff. So I put it in here. It's a great quote on vision. So turn to the page looking back. We're going to start there. We're going to write only 5 top accomplishments. Don't put things like having a baby, even though it's great, getting married. Put some really big accomplishments. Think of this. Think if your family had a crest, right? Like, remember when people used to have a crest? Like, not like the Ralph Lauren one, but like a real one, and you had it, wear it on your jacket. Like, that would include accomplishments, right? They used to have like little things that would mean something on their crest. Those are the accomplishments we're talking about. Maybe it is, I'm not even going to guess, and I'm not going to give you mine. You write down your 5 because they're true to you. So we're going to take a few minutes. Go ahead and write your 5 top accomplishments. Maybe we can have some music. Okay, let's keep going. So as you're thinking back, you also have to think about what challenges did you have. So let's think about just 12 months looking back, and what are those challenges? And I want to tell you that the market was not a challenge, so you can't put that. It was either your mindset or your activities were the challenge or something else. It's not the market, because the market is just a thing. So you can't put that down, right? It's not an excuse. It's a thing. So what challenges did you have? What stood in your way? And if most of us are honest, it probably was mindset, right? A lot of us had, we go through peaks and valleys of a good mindset, a bad mindset. It depends on what we're putting into our mind, what we're listening to. So write those down. What challenges did I have? Also, don't put the government. Yeah. Anybody want to share something that they learned or a challenge they had?
Hi there. Should I stand? All right, cool. Hey, everybody. So I lacked confidence in public speaking, so I know, surprise, right? I joined Toastmasters, and it's changed my life. And thank you. I invite everybody to join Toastmasters. It's amazing. So yeah, that's what I done.
That's awesome. That was a good one. Really, really good. And I love that you did something about it, right? You joined Toastmasters. Definitely, as real estate agents, we all should. I should do that too. All right. Very, very good. Okay, turn the page. We're going to talk about moving forward now. So now we know where we've been, right? Give yourself a little pat on the back for the accomplishments. Woo! Okay. We know our challenges. We understood what got in the way. Now we're going to move it all forward, right? Let the past go. Let's move forward. So this is a strategic business assessment. I'm actually going to go through each one of these with you, and I have a challenge for you. Do not pick number 3, because number 3 is sort of that meh in the middle that you're not really answering. So if you think it is a 3, is it a little bit more of a 2, or is it a little bit more of a 4? So I'm going to challenge you not to pick 3. We're going to assess your business 4 different ways here, and this is really the theme for everything. We're going to assess your business based on attracting. How many leads and people are you attracting to your business? Conversion. How many people are you converting into a client? Deliver. Are we delivering a world-class service so we get all those referrals and we have people talking about us? And then lastly, one thing I think that real estate agents do not concentrate on enough is scale. And scale means growing your business. It could be growing your team, could be just knowing your numbers, and creating your future. A lot of us don't even think through what would the future look like, right? When you go work for a corporation, and you plan on staying there, you kind of understand what the trajectory will be, right? You got your 401k, you work with these coworkers, they tell you what to do, you come in at these times, and then at the end, you what? Retire, right? But in real estate, that's not really a thing. We don't really retire, right? Unless you've made plans to scale. So let's start with the very first part. So I want you to mark these because we want to get an assessment of where your business is currently so we can move forward. First one, we have a system for past clients and Sphere that consistently generates inbound referrals. And the word consistently is important there. Number two, we have a system for generating listing opportunities outside of our database. So if right now your business is primarily just referrals, then you probably don't have a system for generating. Number three, we have a system for generating buyer opportunities outside of our database. So you can turn it on. Number four, we have a system in place for managing and converting leads that are followed by all. So if you're part of a team, you probably have like a lead management policy, protocol, everybody follows it the same way. These are our scripts, this is how we update, this is how often. If you're not on a team and you're an individual agent, do you have that system and plan? How do I follow up on leads? You know, if someone came in and took a look at your system, would there be one? Or would they know what it is? That's what we're rating right here. Next one, we use proven scripts and have a consistent process for setting new appointments. So when you talk to someone on the phone, do you know how to convert it to an appointment? Really well. And it's proven and consistent. Next, we use the same sales processes and materials when meeting with prospective clients. I'm going to give you an example on this one. So a guy that is in the office that I work in, he's been a realtor for about 25, 28 years, something like that. And he had these clients coming in from out of town, and he walked in my office, and he was like all nervous. He rented a car. I'm like, don't you have a car? Which he does, but he rented a car. And he came in my office, and he said, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous to meet with these buyers. And I was like, why? Are they, different price range? Like, what are you nervous about? He's like, I have nothing. I have no packet. I have no presentation. I have no flow for anything. And I sat there and I was like, you've been in the business for this long and you don't have a system, like something that you can just grab. Maybe you don't have it printed or bound, but you can't even like do that. So that's what we're looking for, guys. When we're rating ourselves and as we're creating our business plans, there's no shame. I'm not making fun of him. I'm saying it's more the norm than not. And that's what we want to get to. All right, we use the same sales processes and materials when meeting with, did I just say that one? Yeah, duh. We deliver consistent high-level service to our active buyers and seller clients. So we have a level of service. We deliver that same service to our under contract buyer and seller clients. A lot of times this one gets marked like a 4 or 5 because you have a transaction coordinator. And they're so good at consistency and we are not. Next, we use technology at a high level in our business, but we do not get distracted by squirrels. Don't you put a 5. I know you get distracted by squirrels. Here's a perfect example of squirrels. I have an Apple Watch on, a Whoop band, an Aura ring. Here's my phone. I mean, I couldn't be more connected to, I don't know who's, the outer space. than anybody. Next, we have a clear 3-year plan and know the best way to achieve that goal. We've got it dialed and locked. I take monthly breaks to delegate tasks that aren't serving me or my business at the highest level. Giggling on the breaks. Next, I consistently crush my quarterly rocks by fulfilling my weekly commitments and my top 3. Quarterly rocks are this 90-day plan that we're going to create. So these are your big projects for the quarter, your rocks, or any big projects. Next, I'm following an economic model that allows me to build a truly sustainable business. So what's your economic model? What buckets do you have? How much are you spending on marketing? How much are you spending on people? And how much are you spending on other? Right? This is your economic model. You understand what that is. Next, we know and track the key leading and lagging indicators in my business and review it regularly. I track my net worth and have been making moves to systematically increase it. I have a documented, effective recruiting plan that consistently generates prospects. I have a documented onboarding and training plan that gets hires to perform at the highest level. On my way here, the Uber driver was like, oh, what are you doing in town, right? All those things. And I said, oh, I'm going to go to a business planning session. And of course, he knew the building. And he said, I'm a realtor. I'm like, what? That's awesome. Oh my gosh, okay. And so he said that his team leader is an awesome producer, but has no training for them, right? And it's probably the case a lot of times. Sometimes when we're really great producers, it's really hard to take those skills and what we do, because we usually don't do the same things every time, and then transfer that to the people that are putting their trust into us. And so that's what we want to create, this duplicatable plan. It doesn't have to be a standard operating procedure of 500 pages, nothing like that. It's not core values that you paste on the wall. It's not those things. It's how do I take basically like a business in a box and I move it over and plug you into it. That's what a repeatable plan is. And then lastly, I have a clear weekly and daily cadence on my team or as an individual agent, and a thriving culture of productivity. All right, add those up. How many 1s do you have? How many 2s do you have? 4s, 5s, no 3s. Just like count, not like 1 + 1 +, well, that equals, but not 5 + 5. Just count how many 5s, count how many 4s, 2s, and 1s. And maybe you can visually see it, but when you get this number, any system, any line here that's rated a 1 or a 2 is really a red zone. And the red zone means that these are the things that we got to work on in 2023 in our business. We've got to put these things into place. And if like everything's a 1, A, you're too hard on yourself, probably, or B, you got to get to work. Like, you got to do it. And then if you have 4s and 5s, that's the green zone. And I didn't even give you any yellow zones because we had no 3s. So 4 and 5, that means you're good there. You're probably naturally great at whatever that is. It's kind of we'll talk about your zone of genius, but it's like that thing that you love to do. So for me, I love creating systems and tools. And even when I was a kid, I had systems for how I played Office. My Barbies, they were all like, I was probably like OCD, but my mom didn't tell me. But like they were all in like, career order and like long hair, short hair. It was weird. But how else? Am I going to move them forward, right? But I love systems. I love to create a system. I'm not awesome at following them though, but I am great at creating them. and great at getting buy-in from others who I am leveraging to follow out these systems. So you don't have to be awesome at everything. And if your business is mostly a 1 or 2, don't feel bad. You know what it means? Improvement. It means you are on your way up. We're going to create everything that you want. All right. Yeah. Woo. Let's woo for that. Okay. Next, what do you want your business to look like in 2023? We're going to go through this really quick. So just like a minute or two, what I really want you to put is like, what does it feel like? What does it look like? How many people do you have? Just quick, like anything that's in your brain. Don't, even if it sounds nuts, write it down because it's already in here and your brain will work on what's in your head. So let's put it all down, everything you want in 2023 for your business. Even if it sounds nuts, let's put it down. We'll give you 2 minutes. All right, let's move on. Sorry, I apologize about the slides. I have slides, but I'm forgetting. So that's what happens when you run everything on Zoom now, right? If you guys were all in like computer screen little boxes, then it would feel normal for me right now. All right, we're going to talk about delegation. My favorite. Hopefully yours too. All right, turn to the page that says Delegate to Elevate. So Delegate to Elevate is one of my favorite exercises. And the reason is I actually created a document that's called Delegate or Die, but I didn't want to be creepy, so I just thought, I'll use the Delegate to Elevate. But I'm happy to send you guys the Delegate or Die. At the end, I'll actually give you a link. You can put your names in. I'm not going to spam you. I will just send you all the documents. I'll send you a fresh one of this. We'll send you any documents that we talk about for free. No problem. All right, Delegate to Elevate. So the reason that this is my favorite is because when you're thinking about your time and what really takes up most of your day, like real estate activities and personal activities, you have to understand what you are great at, what you are good at, what you don't like, and what you're definitely not good at. So when you think of your zone of genius, what you're looking for is when you write something in this love and great line, this is like, if I woke you up at 4 a.m. and said, oh my gosh, you should do this, you're like, no problem, I love it. I mean, I didn't want to get up at 4, but I actually love doing this. That's what we're going to write in the love and great. And as real estate agents, I don't think anybody really gives us permission to say there are parts of the job that we don't like, right? None of you probably walked in here today and you shook someone's hand and you're like, oh my gosh, I hate showing houses. You're like, no, you're like, hey, oh my gosh, business is so great. How are you? Right? We don't talk about it. But we have to each other maybe, not to our clients. Like, oh, I hate showing you houses. But we got to talk about it because then we can provide leverage for ourselves, right? You've heard of showing agents, you've done virtual tours, all those types of things. But find out, what do you love that you're great at? Put that in the top upper left quadrant. And then what do you like and you're good at? Put that in the right-hand side. And I don't want you to judge any of this, just write it, because this is how we're going to be able to apply leverage over time. It's not today. I wish I had like magic dust for all of you, and anything that you put in the lower 2 quadrants I could take away, but that's what we're working toward, right? So go ahead and write top left, love great, top right, I like it, I'm good at it, bottom left, I don't like, but I'm good at it, and then the bottom right, don't like, not good at. I'll give you a few examples while you're writing. Just keep writing. But like, maybe it's emailing listing traffic to your clients, downloading expireds if you do that, updating contacts in your database, managing contract to close plans. Maybe you're performing the contract to close plans, closing gifts, buying them, depositing commission checks, inputting listings into the MLS, home evaluations, working on your website, social media, scheduling photography, just some examples. And this is one of those exercises that you might have to finish later because you might have trouble like remembering, oh, that's right, I forgot. Or, because sometimes it's just what's fresh on our mind. This is an exercise that I want all of you, who's got their cell phone with them? Just kidding. You all do. So put in your cell phone a recurring appointment for every single month to do a Delegate Elevate. The more you do this, you'll start to realize maybe something that you had in one category that needs to go to another. And if your whole business is in don't like, not good, then you need to seek a mentor, a coach, a trainer, your office mate that you want to be like, right? And figure out how they're doing it. Sometimes we just don't have the knowledge of how to break through something. So it's where you get curious and you ask questions. But do this every single month. And then when you take your list, and if you have an admin helping you, you're going to give them the don't like, not good. And you're going to say, hey, I need help getting these off my plate. You're probably not able to do all of them yourself. Is there a company we can hire? Like if you're the one creating your own presentations every single time you have a listing appointment and you're printing them and you don't have something bound, glossy, ready to go, or on your iPad or laptop or whatever, you can have a company do that, right? You could have somebody else create that. Doesn't even have to be your admin. So even think outside the box on that. What can I automate? I'm all about automation. What can you automate? You want your business to run like a well-oiled machine. And when I was creating my team, the one thing I could not get out of my head was if I spent a month on the beach, could my business run without me? Or would it completely implode? And then number two, how would I know it was running well? Right? You have to have some type of scorecard. You have to understand. You have to be able to look at it. So that's your goal. Whether you want to hire other people or not, you need leverage and systems. So that's what you're thinking about, right? Most of us have watched the movie The Founder with McDonald's guy Ray Kroc. And one of my favorite parts was when the two McDonald brothers were out on the playground basketball court and they're chalking all the little things, and then they're turning and they're ketchup, and they're figuring out what's the plan. And it wasn't just for their business, right? They would franchise it. So if someone came to you today and said, I'll pay you 7 figures for your team or your business, would you have a business to sell them? Is it something repeatable? Are you making a profit? Do you even know? That's what we're wanting in this exercise. We want to understand our business enough so we can apply things to it. So make sure and put that in your phone. Actually, everybody just take out your phone really quick and do it, because you won't do it when you leave. So let's put it in our calendar. What's today, the 17th? So December 17th, you need to do this again. So put it in your calendar, hit recurring every month. And then I want you to send me an email when you've done this in December. My email is Stacie. I'll give it to you at the end. Don't worry about it. But it's Stacie at staciepeterson.com. If you're putting it in your calendar, that's what I do. And my first name's with an IE. Just to make it complicated. All right, got it in your phones? Sweet. It's going to change your business, I promise you. This one thing. If you guys get nothing out of today and you do this and that business assessment before, your business is going to look so different next year, you're not going to recognize it. All right, next. The next page talks about a time study. And this one excites everybody because I'm going to ask you to write down what you're doing every 15 minutes. The whole purpose of a time study is not to come from a place of what am I doing wrong. It's to come from a place of how am I spending my time. So when you do a time study and you look at it, you should do this for 14 days. And yes, it sucks the whole 14 days. Because you're like, where's my piece of paper? You got to carry this packet around. You can't do it in your phone, can't do it electronically. You have to use a pen. It's weird. So when you are doing your time study and you do it on the weekends and you write when you're sleeping, and what you're going to discover is that there's these things that are either pulling you from what you were focused on before, or you will see ADD on paper. Because you'll be like, whoa, did I just like check my email, check my phone, check my email again, get on my computer and check my email, and then I did the CMA, and then that guy called, and then I had to show a house, and I was like, crap, I forgot to schedule the appointments. And then I went back and checked my phone for email. So when you see that written down, you're like, okay, I need to figure this out. No wonder my brain is like my phone with notifications. It's like constantly pinging. It's because we're allowing our focus to be multiple places. So when you write this down and come from a place of what can I do to improve, it's amazing what happens. And I suggest doing this at least once a year. And when you go through it, you're going to look at what's strategic, what's tactical, what's self-care, and what's family. When I did this exercise for 14 days, I had to turn it in to, you want someone else to look at it for you, okay? So I turned it into this guy, and I was like, yeah, I was pretty proud of it, actually. I was like, I've put in quite a few hours. Looks like I'm doing pretty amazing. And the first thing he hones in on, and this was a coach, by the way, he hones in on is self-care. And he goes, wow, 2 hours of self-care in 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. And he was like, do you exercise? Of course. Just kidding. But I was like, yeah, sometimes, right? Sometimes, when I feel like it. And he's like, well, what else is your self-care? And I was like, well, really not much. I think about it a lot. Every once in a while, I get my nails done. But that's it. And he honed in on that right away and said, that's the first thing you need to change. Because you're getting no renewal time, right? So that's what I mean when you look at this time study. You want someone else to kind of view it for you and say, here's an opportunity. Like, yeah, you're highly functioning. You're getting a ton of stuff done. And in fact, you're probably cheating a little because you're working more than 8 hours a day or 9 hours a day, when really you could probably get it done in about 4 or 5. But we're kind of wasting time. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for these opportunities that we're not thinking about that help us renew. Because here's the worst thing that could happen. We all build this great business, and everyone's like proud of us. They give us the awards, like top producer. But then you lost your family, or you made a ton of promises that you never kept. Or your friends are like, they don't even like you, to be honest, because you're not a good friend. When you're with them, you go out to eat, you do whatever, you're like on the phone, or you're like texting. You're like, sorry, just brain surgery over here. And so at the end, you don't have the relationships that you wanted, and the journey was not fun. That's why we get burnt out. And I got burnt out 3 times in my business where I almost didn't come back. And that was the problem. I didn't enjoy any of it. I thought, I'll just grind through this. I told my husband like 100 times, just let me work, it'll be fine. And then Saturday mornings when, I have 2 little kids, which now they're 13 and 15, but when they were really little, I'm not spending time with them. I'm almost annoyed that they're like asking me to feed them. Because I'm like, do you know how much work I have to do? And they're like, no, don't care. And I know I can see some faces that I sound like an awful mom. I'm not, I'm really a good mom. But yeah, it's like, what happens? And I want to be honest with you guys because I want you to be honest with yourselves. And sometimes we're not. So I spent a lot of time not enjoying the journey. And luckily, my family is amazing and my friends are great. And they just helped me through it. So if you need somebody because you're struggling, find somebody. Find a therapist, find a friend, get a new friend, whatever it takes. But start to enjoy the journey. All right, so now we've just elevated our life. We're feeling good. Oh, I think my clicker quit, Rob. Okay. Oh, maybe I turned it off. Oh, there we go. Okay. Numbers. So this is kind of the hard part. And it's only hard because sometimes we just don't know our numbers. So it's hard to say, okay, this is where I was last year. This is what happened. But we're going to go through this anyway. So start on the top. You can see, I'll just read through it and I'm going to have you work through it because you're going to need your brains fully to kind of think of this. But the top part, how much do you want to make? We're going to start with that because you need to know, right, where you're going to go. Then you need to put in, what are you paying your brokerage? Right? We all pay a brokerage. What are you paying? What's that split? Maybe there's even an additional split with a team, so put that in there too, because you're receiving lots of benefits from being on that team, so you might have more than one. Next, the percentage to withhold for taxes. You guys are different than me, because I'm in South Dakota, so I don't have income tax, and so mine's going to look different. But put your percentage in there, okay? Then you're going to add those up, and that's going to tell you how much GCI you need. That's going to tell you the number. It's that simple. Then you're going to go, what did you make last year? How many transactions? And we're going to come up with a nice little phrase at the bottom. To make X amount, I need to close X amount to get an average of blank per home. So go ahead and work through that. It'll walk you right through it. If you get stuck, let me know. Oh, on the top line, we want gross. Yep, good one. Yep, you could do net, but you're going to take taxes out of it anyway. So it's up to you. It's just going to be higher. Your bottom number is going to be higher if you put net. So it's up to you. All right. Now we are going to review last year's numbers, so the exacts. We need to know between listings and buyers how many appointments we took, how many we actually ended up signing, what that listing volume closed was. And I think the most important part of this exercise is what were my top sources for business. Because that's going to tell us what's working that maybe we can add some juice to. Or if we only have one or two sources, we know we need to add. So let's go through this exercise. Do any of you have trouble tracking how many appointments you've went on? Yeah, okay, lots of us. I'm going to tell you a really easy hack that we did. So does most people use Google Calendar? Yeah, good. Okay. So in Google Calendar, you know how you can create other calendars, right? You have your main one, you can create all these other ones. Create 2 more calendars. One's called appointments and one's called closings. What you're going to do then is every time you set an appointment, you can either set it on your personal calendar or on this appointment calendar, but here's the key. Here's how you tag the appointment. So when you're typing into the appointment, you're going to put SA or BA, seller appointment or buyer appointment, okay? And you have to write this down because it's not on your document. But SA or BA dash the client's name, so whatever their last name is, whatever it is, dash, where'd you get that lead from? Realtor.com, SOI, Open House on Duluth, whatever it is, lead source. And then if you're on, if someone else helps you with appointments or whatever, then you have to put your name at the end of it, right? So like if you're on a team, you'd put dash Stacie because it's my appointment. Then you're going to invite yourself. So if you put it on the appointment calendar, invite yourself, your personal calendar, that way it goes on there. Or if you put it on your personal calendar, invite the appointments calendar. Now you can go through and every week, every month, once a year, you have a snapshot of every single appointment, including when you do buyer appointments. I didn't say this. You need to do, NBA for new buyer appointment and just BA when you're showing. So that way you know, oh my gosh, I did 30 appointments with this buyer. I did 2 appointments with this buyer. You'll understand where your time's going, how much you're making off these clients, really. Because it's not the commission. You've got time in there, resources.
I love it.
Thank you. Closing, same thing. Invite yourself, invite your clients, invite the other agent. You look really nice when you do that, right? Put all that in. Okay, so now you need to write down the appointments, listings taken. If you don't know, guess, right? You kind of have a general idea. You for sure know, hopefully, how many you took, but make a guesstimate and then write down your top 6 sources for buyers and sellers. Was anybody surprised at their top sources? Like once they wrote them down, they're like, wow, I guess I didn't realize I had that many, or, didn't realize that one of these sources was so big, buyer and seller sources. Yeah. Does anybody need to add more sources? Yeah, of course. One thing I can give to you guys as well is, I think the magic question for realtors is always, how do I get more listings, right? How do I generate listings? What are the sources, right? And there's really no magic pills out there, but there is we put this list together from, like I mentioned, the agents that we were coaching and training and looked at their business plans, where are you getting all your business, what's working, what's not, and we have about 18 lead sources to get listings. So I will give you guys that list as well, but just to go over it really quick. Actually, I'll go over it when we're doing our actual plan in case you want to add them to your plan, since I don't have it on the slides. But just so you know, when you're looking at your business and you're looking at, how do I generate more? There really are only a few things that work. And sometimes as agents, we like to throw money at lots of things like, okay, I'm going to do YouTube, Zillow, Realtor.com. I paid some guy to be on a bus bench. I have radio, whatever. But really, when you track your ROI on those things, which is much easier when you do like the calendar appointments, like I said, or you're using some type of system to track your business, you can actually see what gives you a return. And as you're looking at 2023 and everyone's kind of vying for your dollars, because you're going to get a ton of calls, right, on, hey, you should buy this, or put your name on these pens and drop them at the restaurant, whatever it is, you have to understand what's a good return. And on average, you're looking for a 4 to 10 times return on anything you spend your money on. If it doesn't give you a 4 times return, don't spend money on it. It's not the one for you. And so when you're looking at lead gen, like online paid lead gen is such an easy example to use because Zillow's calling everybody. Realtor.com's calling everybody. And so if you invest in that or have in the past, you have to look at not just, because what's their big sales tactic? If you sell one house, it'll pay for it. If you sell 2 houses, it'll pay for it. Okay, well, neat. But that's not really your return, right? So that's where you have to track. And I was not naturally a good tracker. I didn't even really understand what I was supposed to be tracking. So the team, your brokerage might have something that tracks for you. An easy tool that we use was called CTE. And CTE is just a spreadsheet where you can track your sales, you can track your ROI, you can track your efforts. I think it's like $29 a month. It's not expensive. It's not a paid ad. I have nothing to do with CTE. But it was an easy way for me to see my return on investment. And so then I could say, okay, my online leads right now are actually only returning at, let's use an average of 2 times, okay? Okay, so then I can look at it and say, is it Zillow's problem, Realtor.com's problem, everybody's paying for these leads now, or is it that I don't actually have a lead conversion strategy, so I have no idea what I'm doing? I don't answer my phone. I don't follow up. Okay? Then you either have to commit to that or let go of that lead source. And it's going to feel like you're up here on stage naked without online leads if you love online leads. But really what you're doing is just exposing what's already there. So it already wasn't working. And you just got to be honest with yourself. Why give them money if you're not going to do it? There's no need to. They'll be fine. They're good. We had a meeting with Zillow and talked about the top agents for Zillow that were closing the most. And do you know what the average is for Zillow? Everybody thinks Zillow leads are like immediate. They call me, they're ready to buy. They call me, they're ready to buy. Guess what the average was for a lead from Zillow? These are Zillow stats from the time they get on the site to closing once they're assigned to a realtor. So they're assigned to a realtor to closing. 6 months. What else? 1 year. What else? What else? 2 years. 2 years and 2 months. How many of us follow up with an online lead? I mean, really follow up, not just the little drip campaign you put them on. For 2 years and 2 months. Me neither. So that's where you got to track. That's where you have to know your numbers. Okay. We're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about branding. This is something that was never really put into business planning, like the business planning that I had, or the business, when a lot of people teach business planning, they don't talk about branding and auditing your social media. And we're going to do that because it is such a big source now, right? TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Stories, Instagram Stories, Reels, all the things. And it is now your website. Your realtor website is your Instagram feed, your posts on your feed. So how many of you are optimizing that? Maybe not as many. One, like me. I wasn't either. In fact, here's another tip before we get into branding totally, is all of the videos that you shoot, if you're, any of those, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, YouTube, shoot them on your phone or a camera, on Zoom, whatever it is, not within the app. Because your account gets shut down because some bot decided to say you're not you, or they decide to report you, or you violate community standards, whatever it is, and it's gone, right? The pictures you took of your kids, all those things, it's gone. Get it on your own phone. You need to own your own data. And the only reason I know that is because last December, I go to log into my Instagram on my phone and it said, you've violated community standards. And I was like, I don't even post enough to violate a community standard. Like, I'm in there scrolling, but I'm not posting a lot. And my whole account got taken away. And so then I wasted 2 weeks trying to get it back. And you have to like take a picture of yourself, saying you're yourself, and you have to put some weird number on there, and you're like, and you send it to them, and then they don't respond. And then you lost it. You lost your followers. You lost all of it. So if you're trying to build a big business on social, make sure you have all that data on your phone or whatever you're shooting. YouTube, you do. That's easy enough. But you have to own it. So let's get into branding. This is also similar to the crest. What are your brand values? What do you want to be known as? What is it that you value most? Look at this list, and we're looking for 5 top brand values. This makes it really easy then. When you are looking to post on social media or your website or your blog, it also makes it really easy when you're looking to invest in something. You're also looking at these words when you're choosing, how you present yourself. So like I wouldn't choose a word like, well, it's not on here, but like, quiet. I'm just not quiet. Quiet people don't wear red pants. So you also are looking for the words that, you are. Creativity, energy, engagement. I know, only 5. 5 for now. You can add later when you're at home. Maybe you're direct. You're like high D. You can hardly handle this business planning session today because your D is like off the charts. Right? That. Directness. All right, we're going to go on to the next part. And the next part is the elevator pitch, right? When you're crafting, this is something I wish I would have done a little earlier in my career, because when someone asks, just actually like in the Uber, right? What do you do? I'm a real estate agent. And do you think anyone is impressed by that? No. Because they're like, oh, great. Big eye roll. So what you want to use is luxury language and not discount dialect. So when you're talking to someone, how do you talk about what you do? And does it invoke something in them? Like, I want to do business with that person. I'm going to give you a few examples. I put them on my phone. I worked with I forgot even what she called it, but it was like elevator pitch, but she had really some cool name for it. I wish I wouldn't have forgotten, but I did. But she challenged me to come up with, better ways to talk about what I do. All right, now let's hope I can find it. I might have to look for it while you guys are working through it. Oh, here, I found it. All right. So here's some examples. This is what she challenged me to do. You use words that are in your branding, right, that you just chose to describe what you do. So here's some examples that she worked through, and I worked through. I alter and disrupt the traditional real estate career by designing a purpose and legacy while creating multiple income streams. Or I could say, I'm a real estate coach. They're like, yay. I said I alter and disrupt the traditional real estate career by designing a purpose and legacy while creating multiple income streams. I'm going to read you some more. I discover ways to create your purposeful and legacy building real estate career while earning multiple income streams. That was part of my thing. I provide real estate leaders that are burnt out by traditional real estate practices a way to transform from burnout to legacy building and help them. Oh, sorry, that was the end of that one. I improve realtors' legacies by educating them on team structures, organizational systems while transforming their income. I provide real estate leaders a path to multiple streams of income while eliminating burnout. I assist real estate leaders in transforming from burnout to a strengthened purpose while living out your vision. I increase real estate leaders' career satisfaction by improving their vision, providing support systems, and a community. I enhance real estate leaders' vision by providing support systems and a tribe of empowerment while providing a path to multiple income streams. So you get the point. You're looking for those words that are a little more inspiring than the traditional, I am a real estate agent. Now, they have to understand what you do. It can't be like so off the wall that they're like, I thought you were a photographer. So they have to be able to understand it. So let's start working through our elevator pitch. And this is so important because a lot of times people look at us as a commodity because we display ourselves as a commodity. I show homes, I list homes, I sell homes, you know. How do you know I'm a realtor? Because this is my cover picture. Right? We look like everybody else. So this helps us look different. So what do you provide? Who do you provide it for? What's the problem that person faces? What existing solutions are out there? And what's your offering, including your differentiator? If you're not sure, think about the testimonials that you get. They generally tell you what you're doing really well, and it's a great way to be able to kind of talk about what you do. Craft it. You can also just use like the bottom square to sort of brainstorm if it's hard to kind of do it in order. We'll work on this here for about a couple minutes. Okay, how we doing? This one's tough. And somebody asked me about getting a list of kind of like the words that I was saying before. So at the end when I give you my information, I will put that in that list of stuff that I send to you guys. So it'll have more luxury language, discount dialect. So changing your verbiage. Who wants to share theirs? Yay. Here, come up here because he's recording and that'll be easier.
All right. My name is Barry Mathis, if you don't know me. Some of you do, some of you don't. I provide education and opportunities for investors and real estate agents who are looking to increase their income without the volatility of the stock market or traditional business models by helping them earn predictable and repeatable income that will continue working for them long after they stop working.
Yeah, that was great. Good job. Have you done this before? Really good. Yes, good point. How many of you have read the book Story Brand by Donald Miller? A few of you. He said he's read the book. It is awesome. It's a really great book on how to make your clients the hero instead of you, and about how to market and tell those stories. So definitely read that book. It's great. Who else wants to share? Let's get one more, even if you're worried about it. Donald Miller. Story Brand by Donald Miller. He's on a couple podcasts as well. I used to have one saved. Oh, thank you. And I don't remember what it is, but if you Google like Story Brand, Donald Miller, he'll come up on those podcasts. But he kind of gives summaries of the book, and they're great. He's awesome. And he has his own podcast. Okay, one more. Ooh, over there. Oh, two. Yes. Oh, all the way. Okay, here we go.
Dun, dun, dun. Good morning, y'all. I'm Deb Britton, and as a passionate leader grounded in my faith and joy, I instill courage in others to embrace a limitless vision of abundance and adventure. Amen.
I love it. Okay, one more. It was right over here. No, come on, I knew it. Come on. Everybody's is different, right? It's great. Yeah, give her a round. Woo! Gotta come up looking so cute.
Aw, thank you. I'm Mariah Bailey, for those of you who don't know me. I provide honest real estate advice and education through communication for anyone who desires to invest time and money in real estate who struggles with current market conditions and processes, because that's hard. Unlike other brokerages, my offering is client-focused for success, not agent-focused success.
Nice. Good job. See? Way to come up. Now, those three were so different, but if you heard those and you weren't a real estate agent, would you want to do business with them? 100%. That's why we're taking the time to work on this. Great job, guys. Let's give them one more round. Good job. Okay, so I'll read you mine that she came up with in case you want to steal adjectives from mine or theirs. So when I first got on the phone with her, this is what I said. I said, I coach agents with systems and tools to help them create a better business. And I thought it was awesome. And so here's what she came up with. Ambitious real estate leaders, team leaders, partner with me to retain your agents and increase their revenue. I introduce you to systems, structure, and stability for their business by creating custom revenue roadmaps. So agents don't end up burnt out or broke, but can plan a business that keeps their sanity with a profit plan that goes beyond just selling houses. Would you do business with somebody that says, my son keeps calling. I coach agents with systems and tools. Yeah, answer it. Or verbal business, how I said the verbal business card after. Otherwise, I sound like another coach, which is great, but I want to be different. So branding puts you in a different light. When you think through this, what's our number one job? To be in front of people, right? That's how we sell houses. That's how we connect with others. It's how we network. But we don't generally take a lot of time on this. And this is one of the most important things. After you heard those guys say theirs, now we kind of understand. It becomes more real. This is the person I want to be. And remember in the beginning when we were crafting, what do we want 2023 to look like? Normal real estate agents aren't going to get that. But agents that are here, taking the time like you guys to business plan, thinking through all the strategies for a true business, you're going to make it happen. So thank you for taking the time to do this and coming today, because your business is going to be way different next year. And you're going to beat out the competition. Woohoo! Stacie for president. Just kidding. Yeah. All right, let's jump into marketing. If people like you, they will listen to you. But if they trust you, they'll do business with you. Love it. I know I had so many great quotes that I'm not showing you. Sorry. Yes. There you go. If people like you, they'll listen to you. But if they trust you, they will do business with you. Mr. Ziegler. All right, let's talk through our avatar. Probably most people know what an avatar is, right? Our ideal client, our ideal person, our avatar. It's who we're talking to. I struggled a long time figuring this out because to me it seemed like I had to pick one person, meaning are they buying or selling? Do they already live in my area or not? Are they buying a high-priced home or a low-priced home? Are they married? Are they single? Do they have kids? Do they not? But what we're really looking for, the easiest way that I could identify my ideal person was by thinking who was my favorite client to ever work with. And what is it about them? It's not necessarily who they are, what they did, the house they bought, but it was how they treated me, how we did business together, what collaboration looked like, right? Maybe even later on, I continued to, have coffee with them or sell them more homes. That's your avatar. So think about that for a second. And when you're designing what makes you different that attracts that person to you, because they did business with you for a reason. Maybe they came because someone referred them. You met them in the line at Starbucks. You both were on a committee. Maybe that's how you met them, but that's not how you kept them. You kept them because of what you provided, who you were, how you acted, and especially if they did repeat business with you. So I love, as you can see, I love these circles because you can always like put something in the middle and it looks real fancy. So at the top, when you're looking at what buyers and sellers want, right? That's what everybody's solving. Then on the left-hand side, what do you do exceptionally well? And then what's your competition do exceptionally well? And we're not looking for what everybody's doing. We're looking for what makes you different. And that helps you with everything that we've done so far. The branding, the social, the videos, the connecting with people, finding your ideal client. That's the person you're talking to. They understood what made you unique and appreciated it. That creates your ideal person. So turn to the next page because we're going to talk about what are some averages that we have. Whoops, I got to go back. I don't have a slide for that. We're going to identify our demographics, our target market. So on average, what clients do you work with? Maybe you're in the age where you're dealing with mostly first-time homebuyers, and you love it because you love that thrill of like helping them find a house, and you love when their dad comes to the inspection. Maybe, yeah. You're like, thank you for coming. Were you an inspector? Oh, your uncle is? Great. Maybe you deal mostly with luxury clients, right? Maybe your ideal client even has a certain income range, right? Maybe you deal primarily with engineers for some reason. That actually ended up being, when I did an exercise like this, which is funny, because as you can tell, I'm high I, but I'm also high D. And I worked with engineers. Primarily, all my clients were engineers. Isn't that funny? It tells you they want to have more fun. And they're not. Yeah. I was like, don't be so stuffy with numbers. Yes, I can create a spreadsheet. So write that down. How old are your clients? What's their occupation? What's their income range? What's their family like? Where are they located? And the most important part that we're going to put is the bottom question. What needs to happen in their life for them to start looking for your solution? Hopefully it's not that they died, right? What is it? Are they a person that, I'll use my brother as an example because he never uses me as a real estate agent. I know, but he's younger than me. He runs 8 companies, so it's real hard to keep up. And he purchases property all over the United States. Has a plane, flies it. He's a nice guy, but he is a nice guy. But what does it take for somebody like that to do business with me, right? I have to show that, number one, I'm knowledgeable in multiple types of investments because he purchases commercial property, Airbnbs, and personal homes, multiple homes. So in his life, he needs to be presented with solutions. That's how he would find me. So if I'm out there talking about, I'll give you a for instance, because we were on the phone this morning, and he was saying how he has a commercial building, and he's moving his company out. He bought a new building, and someone's finally coming to lease it, but they're only leasing about 5,000 of the 10,000 square feet. And so he was messaging his agent, and he's like, hey, we've been planning this move for like 10 months. It's in a really great location. It's pretty, it's nice office space. Why isn't anybody like taking the whole thing? And she said, well, I don't know, but most clients are just looking for like 4,000 square feet. And he's like, Okay, well, I have 5,000 left. I'm sure we can work that out, but would that be a solution? Can you advertise that? So do you think by him presenting that to his agent that he is super excited and thinks his agent's working for him and providing solutions? No. He's providing the solutions to his own problem. So when you're thinking about what has to happen for somebody to choose you, maybe you need to be the best communicator out there. And I know it sounds vague, but are you calling your clients every week and giving them an update no matter what? Like, no, we didn't have any showings, but this is what interest rates did. This is what your price range is doing. This is what's happening in your neighborhood. Are you calling your clients that are under contract every week? Are you providing them solutions? Hey, seller, I'm so sorry that it's not selling as fast as we wanted to. Here's what we know. My marketing's proven, your price is not. Let's take a look. So you have to provide solutions. So what needs to happen for them in order to want your solutions? And it's a little more complex than they need to want to buy or sell, right? Maybe they have a familial change. Maybe their business is growing. Maybe they need to know that you can help them with real estate all over the country because we can provide a referral agent, right? Yeah. How many of our clients know that? I don't even think it crosses my brother's mind. And I guess I've never said anything now that I think about it. So when we get done, I'm going to call him. But right, we are agents, but we're not just local agents. We are real estate agents, meaning we get to help people with their most important asset, no matter where it's located. So go to that question if you're done with the first part or having trouble with the first part. What we need to know is what needs to happen for them to look for you. Someone needs to maybe say you've done a good job and you've told them that you're available for new clients. It can be simple like that. Most of my engineering clients came from a company that was hiring in our area, and I met with the owners of the company and said, I want to be your agent of choice. When you have all these people coming into your company, you're not controlling the message. I can help control the message. I can sell them on the community. I can give them all the school information, everything they're interested in, and I will help sell your company. Here's what I know about it, but tell me the story. And he was like, well, this is great because, people in my company are just referring random agents. Let's get you to HR. Because if you can help sell my company and the area, you're of huge benefit to me. So that's how I started working with so many engineers. So be creative. If you're looking to serve a certain type of client or, whatever it is, that's what we're working on here. So go ahead and write some of that down. And on the next page, it's going to talk about what are you helping them achieve? And what objections are they going to have to working with you? We'll take a few minutes on this, probably about 8. A little longer because you're going to need some thinking time. All right, we're going to jump forward. How many of you have done a SWOT analysis before? Yeah, like your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is a pared down version on the next page of a SWOT because we're actually doing just the threat part. So all of you probably have identified an agent in your market who may be in this room that is your main competitor. Maybe every time you're talking with a friend, they're like, oh yeah, I saw, blah, blah's video. And you're like, neat, great. I tend to not have a poker face. So when someone mentions the name of the agent, I kind of roll my eyes. And I don't mean to, very nice person. But It feels like everything I do, they do, right? Maybe you feel that too. So what competitors do you have and what's their competitive edge? Or maybe you're an individual agent and in your market is a agent that seems to have like an unlimited marketing budget. So your kids are like singing their song. They're like, 940. And you're like, oh, stop singing that song, right? Whatever it is. So what are their competitive edge that you feel they have against you? Maybe they show up with some magical presentation, so every time you have an appointment and you're the last agent in, you never get to go because they call you and tell you that they already signed, the client already signed with them. I hate those calls. I hate it when another agent would call me and tell me I can't come. I'm like, well, I'm calling them anyway. So what's their competitive edge? What is it? Is it some type of marketing? Is it a guarantee? Love it or leave us. If you don't agree with how we do business, and you can leave us at any time, just give us a 24-hour notice. We sell your home in 67 days or we'll buy it for free. Right? What are those competitive edges that maybe you don't love, but people gets the phone to ring? Maybe they're like the town mayor. They just are really good at marketing. And they're constantly on social media, giving crackers to the team football, the little elementary football team, and they all wear their shirts and all those things, right? That's marketing. So what's their competitive edge? It could also be something that you know is a weakness in your business. So maybe it's not exactly a person, but it is a competitive edge against you. Write those down. Okay, now that you've figured out what your competitors are doing, now we're going to take a little bit of time to solve it. So next page, how would someone know they're the best agent for you based on the competition? So if they have a guarantee, you see them all over the place, whatever that is, what could you do to counteract that? Are there materials you have to create, videos you need to do? You need to read StoryBrand so that you can get your clients talking about you, but in a way that displays they're the hero. What are the things you need to do in order for those people to choose you and not the competition? Maybe it's you need a listing presentation that works. Maybe you just need one. Maybe you need to do a one-step listing and not two, because you're getting beat out there. How will they know you're the agent for them? If people are responding to your competition, then something's working. What can we do instead? We talked earlier about being the communicator. Maybe you need to create communication things for your clients. Maybe there needs to be a weekly text. Maybe there needs to be a weekly email, a marketing update. Those don't all have to be done by you. Maybe you have showing time and you can get all those reports. Maybe that needs to be sent. Maybe you need to read or watch KCM, Keeping Current Matters, and you need to redo those videos for your clients and put that out on your social so they know to choose you because you're the market expert. Generally, the agents that sell the most look like the market expert. They may or may not be, but they look like it to the public, right? It's just like the guy that sells all the cars here. There's probably the guy, whatever his name is. What is it? Oh. And he's the one on all the commercials, and he's also got the slogan, and he looks like he sells the most cars. And maybe you didn't even want that kind of car, but you're like, well, we better go check out Jimmy's, right? It's like ingrained in your head. You want to be that. You want to be the people that everybody's looking for and talking about. All right, let's move on because I want to spend a lot of time on our last two parts, not this part as much as the next part where we go over our goals. We're going to do a quick audit. The quote from Warren Buffett, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. And if you think about that, you'll do things differently. So we're going to talk about auditing everything that we have out there. And this mostly applies to social media. as we talked about, if you're not on social media, that's okay, but it's a big piece of how people find you and how they talk and do business. So we are going to go through a little audit here. So what are your goals with social media? Sometimes we don't even know why we do it, and then we get off track really fast because we're like, well, I don't know. I guess I didn't want to post about what I was eating anyway. So we got to post things that our ideal client that we just identified wants to see from us. They want to see we're a real person. They want to know that we know our business, right? That's probably their two main goals. So what are your goals with social? Is it to increase awareness about your brand? Do you want to attract people to you? Are you trying to drive traffic to another website where you capture all their information? Is your goal just to engage with people? You're kind of a community builder. Do you want to grow an email list? Do you want to promote events? Did most of you find out about this event via social media? No. Email? You follow me? Just kidding. How'd you find out about it? Word of mouth. Okay, great. Brent, yeah, Brent. And he does this for you guys monthly? Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so what are your current goals? Check off the ones that you have. Don't worry about knowing the number of likes and engagement, and don't worry about that. You can look all that up later. But let's talk about our branding into a checklist on the left-hand side. Do you have a page on social completed? Like you have your description of what you do. You have a link in there so they know how to work with you. Do you have videos or photos that show them you're in business? Or is it primarily like a personal one and you don't really have a business one? Maybe you combine them. Either way, yes or no, check them on here. Do you consistently post? Are they valuable to people? Like if all you post is broke agent, it's only valuable to the rest of us because we think it's hilarious too. And if you don't follow the broke agent, you need to. Careful with kids around, but read it. It's funny. Do you have an overall theme? We talked about the theme. What's your theme of your brand? There's a lady in my organization of agents that she sold the first $100 million house in the United States, and she looks it. She just does. I didn't even know what Baccarat. See, I don't even know. She was like, oh, my logo looks like that. I'm like, it totally does. No idea what that was. It's just not my echelon of people, right? So she looks it. Her branding feels like that. How she talks and dresses, and she goes to the Cannes Film Festival, like, yeah, it's just her. And she's not being fake about it. That is who she is. So her branding matches that. On the right-hand side, if you know your engagement, are you responding to comments? Are you answering messages? If you're not getting any engagement, then that's a really good place to start. Do something that gains engagement in your social. I hate to say this because it's recorded, but I really feel like the agents that are going to win in the future are huge on social. Because we do everything on our phones. Like, I'm annoyed if there's a real estate thing I have to do and the app doesn't work on my phone. Like, I don't know if you guys use Transaction Desk. We do. It is like from 1990. I'm like, get out that printer that had the little dots on the side and you had to like move it because this thing is the worst. Right? So we do everything on our phone. We got to make it easy for people as well. So I'm going to have you finish your audit afterwards because I really want to get to the goals. This is the biggest part of our session. This is where you're going to leave with a plan. Quote, you can do whatever you set your mind to if you just roll up your sleeves, get in there, and do it. Everything is figure-outable. Marie Forleo. A great book, by the way. Everything is figure outable. So we are going to craft your 3-year vision, your 1-year goals, and your 90-day plan. How are we going to do that? This is maybe where you've gotten stuck before. This is where it's going to be, this is where you're really going to put in the work. So as you can see on the top of your 3-1-90 is what we call it, it's the same layout. It's just going to have different metrics and different goals, right? But the layout is the same. So sometimes people get stuck on 3-year, 5-year. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just a shorter time frame in the future. So if your brain is only conditioned to 5-year, it's fine. Cross out the 3, write a 5. 3-year, 5-year, same year thing. You're going to write at the top your future date. So 3 years from today, write that date. And you can use January 1st as well. Doesn't matter. You get a little bonus then for amount of days. Then you're going to figure out your volume closed, your GCI closed 3 years from now. It's not the accumulation, it's 3 years from today. Your gross margin, net profit, and number of homes sold. You can see in the really light gray, I gave you the formula to figure it out in case you don't know how to do it, which it's hard when you're kind of put on the spot, right, to do it. Start there. Start with your 3 to 5 year numbers. And then from there, we're going to build the plan. And I'll give you some examples. So start there. Future date, volume closed, GCI, gross commission income, the gross margin. Is anybody here creating a plan that is not in production? Like maybe you are a team leader not in production. You know how to do it, yeah. Okay, so mostly everyone's in production. Okay, then that 80% is going to be right and 50% net profit. If you're out of production, those numbers change. All right, as you're working through your numbers and you get to the bottom part, this is where I'm going to give you some examples. And I pulled up, and I'm sorry, I should have put it on the slides, so you're just going to have to listen to me read it. But I'm going to give you an example of an agent's 3-year plan. The numbers sometimes aren't as hard to figure out, it's just how we get there. So I'm going to give you some examples of what your role could be. Sometimes that's easy, but then we don't understand who we need, not how. So what admin people we need, what systems we need, what's our sources of business, what additional people do we need besides an admin role, and what does that look like, and then what are our strategies for accomplishing the goal. So here's some examples. Team leader role, or your role, excuse me, Ben works with specific clients, spends most of his time on the team and business. So this person is wanting to create more leverage for themselves. They don't want to work with just every client that comes in. They have a very specific, they're probably wanting to work with just their ideal client. They are going to spend most of their time helping other agents. So they're going to add people to their team, right? Next one, administrative. He doesn't have a lot of detail on his plan, but this would look like, you know, I have a marketing assistant doing these types of things. I have my own contract to close, or maybe I leverage that out. I have a listing coordinator, those types of things in any detail. Systems needed. Remember when we did that business assessment? You know exactly the systems that you need. Was more of your red in things attracting business to you? Was more of it in conversion? Like, you don't have a problem necessarily with leads or people, you know, coming to you some way, but maybe you just don't follow up. You don't have a system in place. Those are kind of the systems that you need. To give you an example of an admin, when I was growing my team, the year we hit 220 sides, we hired our second admin. So that's the power of having systems that do the work for you. Or if you're a person that struggles with holding someone else accountable, you're like, I don't know. I don't really know how. I don't know what to hold them accountable to. The system holds them accountable. So remember when I mentioned CTE, or some way to track your numbers? And if you're paying for leads and you don't know if you or other agents are really following up with them, then you use the system to hold it accountable, because the system tells you whether it's working or not. Process over people. Blame the process over blaming people. So the only way to get to 220 sides with one admin is to have really great systems. Contract to close, dialed in. She helped with marketing. She helped with client parties. We did a 60-touch system every year. She was our listing coordinator, which we sent out, brownies when they listed with us. We sent them flowers. She had to coordinate the photographer. That's other things as well when you're looking at people needed. Are you out there measuring the property? Could your photographer measure for you? And before you get all worried, like, well, I'd be on the line if they put the wrong measurements. That's why it says, it's to the best of our knowledge. But can someone else measure for you? How many times are you going to the property? What are other ways to get people to help you? That's how you do things with less people and more margin in your business. So based on what you've done so far, what systems do you need? What people do you need to hit those numbers? Could you hit that by yourself? Could you hit it with the structure you have today? Probably not if your goal is big enough. So take a few minutes on this 3-year vision. If you need help, come up here and I will give you some examples or ideas or help you through something. Okay, how's everybody coming with our 3-year?
While served first-class meals and drinks.
Some questions that I've been getting that you may have as well. Everybody. Okay, some questions that you might have is the difference between, can I get your guys' attention? All right. Some questions you might have on the bottom of the 3-year vision where it says your role, admin, systems, sources of business, people needed. That is part of your 3-year plan. The admin, your role and admin role is the roles that you're going to play, not the who. So it's not like, okay, I need 2 admin under admin role. It's what are the roles that they fulfill. They do my social media, they do contract to close, they do my marketing systems, they are responsible for 20% of my referrals in my business. Whatever those are, and then the people needed is who do I need? I need a photographer, I need somebody to measure, I need a sign guy, I need 2 admins, listing coordinator and contract to close, I need a marketing coordinator, I need whatever it is. That's the part where it says people needed. So I know that was kind of confusing. Also, on your numbers, where it says number of homes sold, the calculation is incorrect. So I actually pull this from the Excel spreadsheet that we use, so I'll send you guys the Excel spreadsheet, and it calculates it for you. But we start sometimes with number of homes sold, because that's easier to figure out. So once you figure out your number of homes sold, GCI divided by the commission, then you can work down. So it start at the bottom and go down. So if you were having trouble with that, I'm sorry. I messed that up. But I'll also send you the spreadsheet so you can pop it in. Okay, as you're working through your 3-year, here's how we get it to a 1-year, okay? So sometimes 3 years feels fluffy. It's like, well, I'm not super connected to that plan because I don't know what I'm doing in 3 years. I have no idea. I'm a new agent. I'm an existing agent. I'm going to retire in 3 years. So when you're looking at your 1-year plan, here's the question you're going to ask yourself. What has to be true at the end of 2023 in order for me to hit that 3-year plan? So if one of your goals was to sell 50% more homes than you sold the year before, okay? If that was your goal, what are you going to have to do by the end of next year? You're going to probably have to add some type of lead source or get much better at conversion. Everybody should have in their goal, know my economic model and understand my ROI, right? We have to know, are we getting at least a 4 times return? You have to assess if what you're doing is going to help your business run like a well-oiled machine. Remember how I said that was my filter? What can I do to get everything to run like a well-oiled machine? Maybe you need some type of scorecard or tracker so you know what's happening in your business truly. Because some of us ride that roller coaster. Like, oh, I sold a whole bunch of homes. Oh, I wish I was less busy. Oh, crap, no one's calling me. Oh, I'm not even busy. Oh, I'm too busy, right? We ride that. But you know what? We have to be the thermostat and not the thermometer. So set your emotions at a certain temp and don't ride it up and down. How you do that is by knowing your numbers, because the numbers don't lie. So maybe there's a few things. One of your strategies then for your year plan is, what are the 5 numbers I need to know so that if I was on a beach for a month, I would know if my business was healthy? You'd have to know what? How many leads are converted? How many appointments are being gone on? How much money do I have in the bank? How many closings are coming in the next week? How many new appointments am I going on? Did I say that one? You have to know like those things, right? That would tell you if your business is healthy. We ran what was called a scorecard every single week. Have any of you read the book Rocket Fuel or EOS? Okay, write that down in your strategy. If you have an admin that you are expecting to be the director of the universe, read that book. And don't get too caught up in the titles in the book, because as you actually run a system like this, what it is an entrepreneurial operating system. And if you've been in real estate long enough, you've heard of Floyd Wickman. His son is one of the creators of EOS, because he took over his dad's business and it was a complete mess. So that should make you feel better too, because he was doing lots of coaching and his business was a mess. His business was primarily phone, right? So there wasn't very many pillars to continue when you're the guy on the phone and you've taught no one else that business. So EOS teaches you to have a scorecard so you understand the health of your business. CTE can be a scorecard. And again, if you're using something, don't go buy CTE. Use what you got. Learn what you've got. Don't spend more money, but just track. We do it in an Excel spreadsheet too. Our scorecard's on an Excel spreadsheet. Every Monday, we have an hour-long meeting with our admin and ask them what's happening, what things did you commit to last week, what did I commit to last week, what issues are there to identify and solve, and then how's the health of our business. So that might be a strategy for you. Maybe you need a better organizational system. EOS is an organizational system. If you're an individual agent, you're like, well, how does that apply to me? You still have to understand your numbers. You still have to track. So using the calendar system that we talked about, using Delegate, Elevate, that should be your strategy. This part should be so easy because we've done the work prior to this. We assessed our business, so we know exactly the systems that are in red, right? We know the number that we want to make. We understand how we want to brand ourselves, how we want to show up in the market. So go back to that. We didn't do all that work just for funsies. We did it so that you'd have a real plan to use. And you might have to go back to this, that's okay. But that's why we went in that order, so it was easier for you to do this. So if you're looking at the page and you're like, ugh, I don't even know what any of this is, that's all right. You get to look back. This isn't a quiz. You get to go back and look at all the work you've done so far. I would suggest starting on the page with the business assessment, which was toward the beginning. I didn't put page numbers on here. So in 1 year, what has to be true in order for me to hit my 3-year? And this one's a lot easier because we're constantly doing 1-year plans, right? We do it all the time. This is where you made that resolution, but you didn't do it. We're going to do it because we're going to break it down after this. But you got to have your 1 year. So if you struggled with 3, at least do 1. So what are those numbers? If I want to sell 100 homes in 3 years, but the average in my MLS is only a 20% increase, that's going to be tough for me to do if I'm at 10 homes this year, right? So if an average real estate business grows by 20%, that kind of gives you an idea for 3 years, if you use today's numbers. That would have been helpful when you were doing that, huh? Sorry. So as you're creating your 1 year, take what you did this year, and you could add that percentage if you want to. Maybe you have a different number. Mine went from 0 to 100 to 150 to 171 to 225 to 275 to 300. So sometimes you'll have big jumps and sometimes you won't, right? It's super hard to get to 100 sales a year. To 200, it's just the system. You're just now oiling that wheel a little bit, right, to get to 200. It's hard to go from 2 to 5, 5 to 6, 5 to 7, 5 to 8 is not as difficult. It's just adding probably a few more people, maybe adding a system or tweaking that system. Now you know why I love systems. They make everything easy. Okay, let's finish our 1 year plan. Okay, I know this seems like a fun time to duck out. Don't, because I'm giving away $100 bills to those that are staying. Just kidding. Totally kidding. But I want to tell you a couple things because I know some of you, it's getting close to time. So I have a link for you. Write this down so you guys can get these materials. I'll add everything I can for you to make it easier. You bet. Let me find. My VA created the link here. All right. It's a bit.ly. So bit.ly / S as in Stacie, P as in Peppa, just kidding, Peterson, and then free tools with an S. It's going to ask you for your name, email. I'm not marketing to you. I'm not doing any of that. I will give you your all the information, okay? In order to find me on social media, repeat it. Yes, sorry. bit, like bit.ly / SP free tools with an S. No .com. Oh, great. Rob will send it to all of you as well. Look at that. Oh, if you register. Only if you register. bit.ly / SP free tools with an S. On social media. Did it work? All right, let's tell my admin. What the heck? It's a capital SP. Maybe that makes a difference. Oh, sorry. I just like to trick you guys. I'm like, try it. See if it works. All right, that works. It's a capital S, capital P. All right, and then on social, I am on Instagram, TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok. Facebook is @ThisIsStacie Peterson. It's on the front of your book as well. So you can connect with me there as well. All right, give me 10 more minutes of your time because we're going to do the 90-day world. This is the most important. So as you look at your 3-year, it can be super overwhelming. Then you look at your 1 year and you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. I don't want to admit it, but I'm tired. And it was really hard for me to create business this year and keep a good outlook with everything that's going on, right? So if you're feeling that, it's okay, right? It has been that way. Let's just acknowledge it. It's been a tough, tough time to be in our industry. But that's why we just spent 2 hours doing this. The 90-day world takes that 1-year plan and breaks it down into quarters. Sometimes we put big, big, big projects for our 90-day rocks, right? Rocks in our 90-day world. And you have to remember you're one person that is selling homes, and maybe or maybe not, you have an admin. So make sure that when you're looking at your 90-day, so I would use March 23. So pretend like it's January 1. It gives you a little more time to work on it. It's like a bonus. So make your future date March 31st of 2023 on the 90-day world page. Break it down. How many deals do you want to do your first quarter? Maybe there's seasonality, like I mentioned in your MLS. There is in mine. So those are tough months for us. But did you know, according to NAR, December and January are the most relocated months? Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So most people relocate then. And we kind of tend to think like, oh, it's Christmas, Thanksgiving. Do you know why realtors are never around in November and December? Like why it's like quiet most times? Why do you think? Right. That's right. I agree. I think, it's a time where agents think there's not going to be as many business, but there's a lot of motivation during that time for people that are trying to buy, right? That's what he mentioned. The reason I believe that agents are not in the office is because remember when we were talking about the time study and I had 2 hours of self-care? And now to tack on holidays and family and expectations and birthdays or all the things you got at the end of the year. Business planning sessions, your dues are due, right? You got all these things. It's not because they're lazy, and it's not because you're lazy. It's because you didn't take the time up front to enjoy the journey. So I hope today that this plan gives you hope. So if you're sitting in your seat and you're like, I came today hoping that my business will change next year. I don't know how, I don't know who, but I need it to change. This is what you need. Just spend more time crafting it, tailoring it. You have everything in here. There's no magic pill, and no real estate horse is coming to save you. It's up to you, and you've got what it takes. You've 100% got what it takes. If you need to get a coach, get a coach. If you need to plug into what you already have, which is probably the case, plug in, do it. Make new connections. Our job is networking, whether you're an extrovert or introvert. Your job is to execute this plan. And I hope that all of you have the absolute best year next year because you took the time to come, because you made it happen. Yeah. Thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you. I appreciate your time. I don't take it lightly. I was like sweating bullets. I've done this a million times, but it means a lot to me for you to have a plan that you can use. Do you feel like you've got the tools to do it? Awesome. This is my favorite quote. The road to success is always under construction. We're all a work in progress. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brent and team. I appreciate your time.